Hi everyone. My name is Rajesh Bhatia. I am the CIO of ITI Mutual Fund. It's great to connect with you on this platform. As the lady said, I have 30 years of investment experience. I really come from a money manager's perspective, that to equity fund management. So please bear with me. That's the perspective, that I have ingrained in my brain. So that's really what I'm going to share with you. I was told what kind of advice I can give an MFD. My response was, I don't think I want to give any advice to anyone because we ourselves are students of the game. But I can certainly share my observations over the last 3 decades as to what I think works in investing, which could be of some help to you in terms of what I've learned. I really come from a character ethic perspective. Whenever I think of mastering something or being in a certain business, I really think that you should have the right character first. You have to have integrity, you have to have transparency, you have to put the client first, you have to be diligent, you have to be knowledgeable. You first address those things first. That's really the foundation for success, according to me, and that's really my individual opinion. It is not as if people who don't have the character ethic don't succeed in the sales business. Probably they do. But just that from the value system I come from, I think if you have the character ethic, you are more assured of success. You can be surer of long-term success. You have greater peace of mind that you're doing something which is good and contributing, and there is a purpose to your life. So I really come from that character ethic. So my first advice would be build those foundations correctly so that you can profit from longer term, profit from what comes in front of you. This is a very successful book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We have drawn some analogies from that to kind of talk to you about what we think could be good for you to keep in mind. Those are the 7 points that we really are going to talk about. In a nutshell, if you ask me what is the one thing that drives great investment performance of a portfolio over a long period of time, I think it is asset allocation, right? So we are in India. We're extremely fortunate to be in a country like India. If you take the BSE base of 100 in 1989, and it's 60,000 plus or wherever that is right now, that's a 16% compounded for 42 years. I mean, I can tell you, you can look across the world. There is no country that for 42 years has compounded at 16% per annum. So we are damn lucky to be in India. And by the way, when you look across the world, people will tell you India is really the go-to country for the next 10 years. India's decade, India's century. So we are extremely lucky that we've had such a backdrop, and it's looking even better, as you move forward. But in that context, you have to keep in mind the asset allocation. So the point I was making is, it didn't matter which fund manager you selected as much if you were in India, as long as you were in equities. You would have made tremendous amount of money. Please compound that for 42 years and you'll know what I'm saying. So it mattered whether you were in equities or not. Fortunately, the Indian public, retail public, is getting that message, and the mutual fund industry is doing extremely well. It also mattered whether you were there in equities in 1992. Unfortunately, what tends to happen is people invest the most money at the peak of the markets. So, I'll dumb it down for you. The secret to not making huge mistakes in the market is look for excessive enthusiasm. Whenever there is excessive enthusiasm in an asset class, just ask, should I exit this asset class? That's really so whenever valuations go up and excessive enthusiasm is present in an asset class, the last 5 years is great. It's going up year on year, and everybody wants to get into that asset class. Ask whether I should be there in that asset class. That's the trick to asset allocation in my experience, and that explains a bulk of your returns. The second thing that I've learned in the investing business is that to create wealth, you require time. Nothing really happens in the next 1 year or 2 years. But if you give it time and if you're in the right asset class, that's the secret to building wealth. But how many people, how many of your clients are geared to thinking long term? Temperament is the most important. I've read lots of investors' biographies or comments. They would tell you temperament is the most important thing in investing. So do they have the right temperament? And if not, are you building it for them? So that I think is an extremely important aspect of creating long-term wealth. Emotional intelligence, if that's what you want to call it, but temperament is really the most important thing as far as long-term wealth creation is concerned. Third thing is, again, according to me, the most money is made when you're ahead of the market, right? And you are behaving in a bit of a contrarian manner. So like I pointed out, wherever there is excessive enthusiasm, you have to ask whether I should be out, right? There was a very famous song, 50 million Frenchmen can be wrong. Can't be wrong, but actually you should really interpret it as 50 million Frenchmen can be wrong. Where the excessive crowd is, they all can be wrong, and you have to think a little more independently. So I think contrarian thinking is really, again, a very important ingredient. Thinking for yourself and not following the crowd excessively is, again, a trick to making sure that you keep your wealth and you grow that over a long period of time. In my observation as an asset manager, the one thing that I've realized that wealth managers and MFDs, the most important thing for them to do is really babysit the client. The client is always in emotional turmoil when